I recently found myself craving Honey Nut Cheerios, so when I came across a good sale price, I immediately picked a box up. Honey Nut Cheerios were a significant cereal in my childhood. It definitely wasn't the most common cereal I'd eat, but it was probably the sweetest, most junk food-like one I'd consume with any level of regularity. However, upon taking my first bite from this box, I was still very surprised by how sweet it was. It is very sweet. I would even go as far as to say sickeningly sweet. This experience motivated me to try this Hearty Oat Crunch variant before I completed this review. These were never around when I was initially eating Honey Nut Cheerios and are obviously marketed to a more mature adult audience. As you can see, the B is a lot less prominent on the cover. As I suspected, Hearty Oat Crunch is relatively successful in counteracting this initial shock. The addition of essentially unflavored flakes dilutes the initial sweetness and overall contributes variety to the bowl, adding texture and crunch. I even found the additional crunch and more organic textures brought out the ambiguous nut flavor in Honey Nut Cheerios, although this also could be attributed to the advertised granola clusters, though I personally felt these were rare enough to be deemed an irritating afterthought. Unfortunately, Hearty Oat Crunch only has marginal impact on the progression of the bowl. I'd say that while Cheerios are best consumed crunchy, they are definitely not inedible when exposed to milk. I'd compare them to other oat-based cereals like Quaker Oat Squares, which take on a slight rubbery texture. However, the interesting rib structure of Quaker Oat Squares, forming a hollow yet completely enclosed cavity, is designed specifically to foster a variety of textures, limiting the exposure of milk to particular regions of the cereal. This element of interest is something that Cheerio in its independence lacks, and I believe Hearty Oat Crunch definitely contributes. The true weakness of Honey Nut Cheerios returns to their excessive sweetness, which quickly is dissolved into the milk. At this point, the relief of the near flavorless flakes is undermined by the omnipresent flavor of honey and nuts, which is carried by the infected milk. One thing I noticed after eating Honey Nut Cheerios for a number of days was the strange emblem at the bottom corners of the box. It reads, "We all love to connect. That's the Cheerios effect." They offer more information on the back of the box. Take 2 Cheerios and drop them in a bowl of milk. See what happens. Eventually they come together. Scientists call it the Cheerios effect. And it's pretty amazing. But it's even more amazing when it happens with people, because nothing could be more worthwhile than those simple moments when we choose to connect. We all love to connect. That's the Cheerios effect. The shape of a Cheerio, a circle, is a potent symbol on its own. When two are brought together, merged in this cosmic dance through the Milky Way, they form the symbol of infinity. It is as if they offer some potential for esoteric transcendence, connecting the individual to the universe. Initially, I intended to give Honey Nut Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios Hearty Oat Crunch 2.5 and 3 stars out of 5 respectively. However, in recognition of the Cheerio effect, I've decided to not only alter these scores, but my entire scoring system. I will give Honey Nut Cheerios 8 out of 10, and Honey Nut Cheerios Hearty Oat Crunch 8.5 out of 10. In honor of the infinity symbol, you could consider the ratings to be infinity and beyond.